Welcome back to another chilling episode of Crime Scene X. Today's video will cover 3 scary and true Home Alone horror stories. If you enjoy the video, then please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for daily creepy story uploads. It was supposed to be a peaceful weekend. My parents had left for their anniversary trip, leaving me with a list of emergency contacts, a fridge full of food, and the house to myself. I planned to catch up on reading and enjoy a few days of solitude. After my parents left, I performed the ritualistic security check, locking all doors and windows, making sure the alarm system was active, and even double-checking the garage. Content, I returned to my room, immersing myself in a novel until late into the evening. Eventually, fatigue set in. I bookmarked my page, turned off the light, and drifted into sleep. That's when the sound started. It wasn't loud, more like a subdued rustling. At first I thought it was the wind outside, rustling the leaves or maybe a stray animal, but then I heard the faintest whisper of a voice. My heart started to race. I picked up my phone, its screen illuminating my face in the darkness. 2:47 a.m. Holding my breath, I listened. Silence. Maybe it was just my imagination, fueled by the solitary atmosphere in the late hour. I put my phone down, turned on my side, and tried to go back to sleep. And then, unmistakably, I heard footsteps. Soft, calculated steps, moving along the hardwood floors of the living room downstairs. Every muscle in my body tensed. I grabbed my phone again and dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? There's someone in my house, I whispered, my voice shaking. Are you in immediate danger? The operator asked. I don't know. I'm upstairs and I hear someone downstairs. Police are on their way. Stay on the line. The footsteps continued, accompanied now by the soft murmur of a voice. I couldn't make out the words, but the tone scared the hell out of me. I felt trapped. My room had only one exit, and jumping from the second-floor window wasn't a particularly appealing option. Suddenly, I heard the footsteps begin to ascend the staircase. Each step creaked under the weight of the intruder. My mind raced, adrenaline surging through my veins. I had to do something. As quietly as possible, I slipped out of bed and pushed my dresser in front of the door, barricading myself in. Then I hid in my closet, phone still in hand. The footsteps reached the top of the stairs, pausing for what felt like an eternity before continuing down the hallway. When I heard my bedroom door handle jiggle, my heart sank. There was a momentary pause, and then a bang as the intruder tried to force the door open. The dresser budged but held its ground. Within seconds, the sound of police sirens wailed from outside. The intruder pounded against the door one more time before retreating. I heard them sprint down the stairs, followed by the crashing sound of something being knocked over. Then, silence. The police found the back door wide open and my living room in disarray. Whoever had been there was gone by the time they arrived. They took my statement, searched the surrounding area, but found no one. My parents returned the next day, horrified by the incident and full of apologies for leaving me alone. As for me, I was just grateful to be safe, though the emotional scars remained. Even after we upgraded our security system and reinforced the locks, the house never felt as secure as it once did. For the longest time, every sound in the night, every creak of the floorboards, would send my heart racing, reminding me of the night I wasn't truly alone. My parents were going out of town for the weekend, and I was thrilled to have the house to myself. No rules, no curfew, just me and a marathon of my favorite TV shows. They left early Friday morning, reminding me to lock up and be safe. As usual, I nodded and assured them I'd be fine. Around noon, I decided to rearrange my room a bit. In the process of moving my bookshelf, I accidentally knocked over a stack of old DVDs. While picking them up, something caught my eye. A tiny red light blinking from behind the row of books. Confused, I reached back and found a small, hidden camera. My heart sank. Where did this come from? I immediately checked other rooms, finding 2 more cameras, one in the living room and another in the hallway. None of them were there before. I was sure of it. Panicked, I called the police, who arrived and took the cameras for investigation. They promised to expedite the process given the unsettling circumstances. Now genuinely afraid, I called my best friend Sarah to come over. There was no way I was spending the night alone. She arrived within the hour, bringing a sense of normalcy and comfort. We ordered takeout, watched movies, and almost managed to forget about the disturbing discovery. Late that evening, my phone buzzed with an incoming email. The sender was unlisted, and the subject line read, "Do you like being watched?" Hesitantly, I opened the email. It was a video file. My stomach turned as I realized it was footage of me, taken from the hidden cameras. In the video, I was moving about the house, completely unaware I was being filmed. The footage ended with a typed message that filled the screen. "See you soon." I showed the video to Sarah, and we immediately called the police again. They urged us to leave the house right away. My parents rushed back the next day, horrified and angry, and the police launched a full investigation. Despite their efforts, the person behind the hidden cameras was never caught. From then on, I never felt safe in that house. Every corner seemed to hide a potential lens. Every room felt like a stage for an unseen audience. But what truly haunted me was the fact that someone, somewhere had been watching me, and was possibly still watching. The idea of being home alone went from a teenage dream to a nightmarish scenario. Even though the cameras were gone, the violation of my privacy was something I could never shake off, leaving me forever skeptical of the very walls that were supposed to protect me. I was practically counting down the days until my parents left for their weekend trip. Not that I don't love them, but the idea of having the house to myself was too appealing. When the day finally came, they left me with the same set of instructions they'd been repeating all week. Lock the doors, don't throw any parties, and no cooking complicated meals that could result in a fire. I nodded, barely listening. Once they were gone, I relished my newfound freedom, but not recklessly. I locked all the doors, made a sandwich for dinner, and settled into a night of binge-watching my favorite series. Around midnight, I started to feel tired and decided it was time to head to bed. I fell asleep as soon as my head hit the pillow, but I was abruptly woken up by a creaking sound, soft but noticeable. I thought it might be the house settling, but something felt off. It was as if the air in the room had thickened. As my eyes adjusted to the dark, I saw the door to my bedroom inch open slowly. My heart started racing. I had definitely shut it before I went to bed. The door stopped moving but stayed ajar. I held my breath and waited. A figure stepped into the doorway, backlit by the dim light from the hallway. It was a man, but not one I recognized. He stood there watching me. My phone was on the bedside table just inches away, but in my paralyzed state it felt like miles. Finally, driven by sheer terror, I lunged for my phone and screamed as I dialed 911. The man rushed at me, grabbing for my wrist in an attempt to seize the phone. We struggled, knocking over the lamp on my bedside table in the process. I managed to hit the speaker button just as the 911 operator answered. "Please help! Someone's in my house!" I screamed. The man seemed startled by the voice coming from the phone, and for a second he loosened his grip. That was enough for me to break free. I bolted from the room, screaming as loudly as I could. I made it to the kitchen, grabbed a knife, and turned to see the man hesitate at the top of the stairs. Our eyes met for a second before he turned and ran, disappearing into the darkness. Police arrived minutes later. They searched the house thoroughly, but the man was gone. They told me the back door was ajar when they arrived, and they believed the intruder had fled that way. My parents came home immediately, cutting their trip short. No amount of locks or police assurances could make me feel safe in that house again. And even though they never caught the guy, my parents and I were just relieved I was unharmed. But the experience left scars that no amount of time could fully heal. From then on, being home alone was never an option. Not because my parents forbade it, but because I could never shake the feeling of that stranger's eyes watching me in the dark, making me forever question if I was truly alone. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please like the video, comment what you thought, and subscribe for daily uploads.